Alright, salutations everyone, and welcome to a Starbright Fantasy, a world of cosmic wonder and possibilities. Here we're taking inspiration from Edo-era Japan, Treasure Planet, and Studio Ghibli, so we got this weird little hodgepodge of stuff. Um, and we're gonna run a little space adventure for you all. But before we go around and jump into the game, let's go around and introduce ourselves really quickly. We can just, everyone can just quickly say their name, handle, and just a brief little introduction of your character that you will be playing for, let's limit it to a couple sentences. We don't need to share everything.
Right, so I'm Ando. I'm going to be playing Ishtar, a drow elf, twilight cleric. Um, yeah, I'm just going to have a fun time with that.
I'm Leo. I'll be playing Elysande she's a mom and a paladin fighter.
And I am Lynn Jade, and I am playing Liarel Dova. You might hear that name pronounced a couple of different ways. I haven't quite settled on a particular pronunciation. She is a high elf druid, circle of the land, and she's full of secrets. And we'll see where we go.
Perfect.
I am XSilverSugar, aka Risa, and I will be playing Nameless, the Circle of Stars druid, and Ishtar's brother.
You're muted.
Muted!
Great. I got the first you're muted comment. My name's Rachel. I'll be playing a Tabaxi Way of Mercy monk. And his name is Song. He's a rough but good boy.
Alright. And I am Joe LaPlante, your humble game master for this adventure, and widely known throughout my own Discord server as Fate, as I tend to GM a lot, so it works. But I don't know with this group, we'll see. But with that out of the way, let us get started into a Starbright Fantasy. Light and stars. Golden light travels through the cosmos at an unfathomable pace, dancing through the universe's endless galaxies in a symphony of vibrant fractal colors. Each tendril of brilliant chromatics leaves the gift of wonder in the silver-speckled skies. Shooting stars fire across the Andromedan galaxy, cresting just past the horizon of Selene, the Capenian dynasty's seventh planet. It is here where Emperor Kaijin Capenna continues to rule 43 other planets with iron decree and ceaseless ego. All enforced by the loyal Capenian navy, which keeps his interests protected from the mob of the unprivileged. Just beyond the terrestrial territories of Selene rest two orbiting celestial bodies, Hoshi and Hina. The larger moon, Hoshi, is known for lush fields of lavender rice, scenic mountains, rich personal culture, and a beautiful oil-painted sky that almost seems to move of its own whims. People here live a quiet and comfortable life away from the more constructive obligations of Selene. It is here that many older traditions survive modern indoctrination, preferring a more oral and deeply personal history. Its lunar sister Hina is an expansive, verdant tundra with icy streams of dark brackish water flow from the magenta snow-capped mountains deep within the valleys of agricultural and rural life, which here is commonplace. Before reaching the northwest hemisphere, home to to Ashra City. This bastion of culture is home to all manner of folk, from the gaggle of panhandling beggars, prowling criminals, to the Capenian Navy. Far up in its skies, however, rests its pride and joy, Kokorro Spaceport, a station of travel and trade. Our story, however, begins in the sunset hours of Hoshi, to the farthest reaches of the northwest hemisphere within the deepest embrace of violet-capped mountains and iridescent opal conifers. Star-streaked skies, untethered childish wonder, and a deep call to exploration. Here amongst the gem-colored forest are small winding paths of exposed terrain and evenly placed torii gates. Dim specks of orange light hover throughout the forest, and around the shrines, chittering noises of forest life and a running stream echo with a more ancient and personal connection. Here, the base of these mountains is home to numerous small villas. Many here live with a simple and more traditional life. Here, built into the side of the mountain, several traditional shrine villages that almost climb starward. Slightly cobbled streets with decorated vermilion lantern glow wrap these silent villages at the edge of the warm world's embrace. A large torii gate shrine welcomes those to here, Mitzi Village. The natural darkness is filled with the crackle of hearth fires and the quiet din of simple dinners and a beautiful cosmic glow of a clear sky and silent whistles of shooting stars. Here is where our story of a Starbright fantasy begins. Within Mitzi Village, there is the late hours, and here the people are enjoying their simpler lives. Within, just helping out is a couple of figures that are not local to being up here, alongside a third figure that are kind of just trying to, at this point, make ends meet. So, I would like Ando, Risa, and Leah to, and whoever wishes to go first may, but please describe yourselves and what you might be doing in a place that is known as the Magenta Hostel, which is a small kind of tavern-like inn run by a surprisingly fast Dorwar caretaker. A Dorwar is like a bipedal, they look like a penguin, but with like bear paws. As this Dorwar, named Seema, kind of runs to the various patrons. It's not a busy place, but for a small village like this, it's busy enough. And I would like I said, I would like the three of you to describe yourselves and what you might be doing in this moment.
All right. At the moment, Ishtar of House Liarel, she is this rather tall and unlike most elven figures tend to be a bit more lithe. She seems to be a bit more, at least a bit more muscular comparatively. She is often adorned in some kind of heavier armor from the looks of it. She is a drow with dark purplish kind of skin, almost speckled with almost what looks like stars in the night. And her hair, instead of being the stark white of typical drow, is more of a night sky blue. She has her hair tied back very neatly, and she has herself. She tends to compose herself very well, but at this moment, she is probably wrestling with another drow, trying to get, say, probably like a napkin or something out of his mouth, and just going like, "No, no, no! This we do not put this down. Put this down." And
Yeah, table manners have not been something that Nameless has taken well to. For sure. Whereas Ishtar is very composed and put together, Nameless is an absolute gremlin mess. They have the same striking blue hair and starry complexion, if a little brighter, but their hair is wild. It looks like they chew on it every couple seconds. It is frayed, it is knotted, it is matted. They are currently wearing what tandamounts to like a nightgown and are very barely keeping that on. It has been a struggle.
Okay. Well, those two are currently having a napkin war. Leo, what do you think your character is doing, and what do they look like?
Is this the town that I'm from?
Maybe not from, but is the one you've taken residency in.
Okay, so I'm familiar with the place.
Mhm.
And it's like an inn?
There's
Wait, what is this building?
the Magenta Hostel, which is just kind of like a small like inn. It's not, it can't really be qualified as like a large inn or anything. It's kind of
Tavern adjacent?
think of it as like a sort of, instead of like those really nice hostels in like up in Kyoto or something that we are familiar with, think of it more like it's a version of a Motel 8. It's not the greatest, but it's functional here.
I am having dinner.
Okay.
And there's like a big common area where all three of us are
Yeah,
in?
yeah, it's got its own little like common area. Like it's not the biggest area. There's probably about 6 tables in total, and it could probably house roughly only about 30 people. It's not huge.
Okay. I'm not the furthest away from their table, but if they're at a table, but like not like right next to them either. Just like making sure that like seeing their little ruffian energy, but like staying out of it enough. But in case something happens,
Okay.
they're ready. So she's Elysande is just like picture like a middle-aged woman that isn't just an asshole. Just like the nicest old woman like middle-aged woman that you've ever met. And yeah, she's just having her dinner. She's got her little glass of wine. She works at a jewelry shop. I don't know if she worked today or not, but she's got some more armor on than you'd probably expect. And she's got her little glasses on. She's kind of reading a book while having dinner, but like, you know, when you sometimes read a book when you're eating, you're not really reading that book. And yeah, she's just sitting there having a nice quiet night to herself. By
I like
herself.
that you described like the nicest middle-aged woman you've ever met that just like isn't an asshole, and truly what you described, there is a word for that, and that's called a cryptid.
I was gonna say she's kind of like our mom, but nobody else here knows our mom.
But anyways, yeah, as that kind of goes through, as the Dowa woman kind of, who is kind of, as I said, the small penguin-like creature with vibrant purple fluff and bear-like paws, and is dressed kind of like an old Russian grandmother.
Oh no, I love them.
She kind of saunters over and checks to make sure that Ishtar and Nameless are satisfied with their food. Probably seeing that one plate is cleaner than the other.
Oh yeah, Nameless absolutely licked their plate clean. Just unashamedly.
I'm going to be very honest. This is the first time I've seen that happen here.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm still working on his table manners. It's just been a bit of been a few road bumps here and there. Just he's not quite used to, I suppose, polite company and uh, just being out in public. So, but we're working on it.
I'm not too bothered about that, as Mitzi Village isn't. We're pretty far away from most cities, so I'm not too bothered, and you're welcome to continue your. I feel like saying behavioral training is insensitive, so I'm going to. Well, there, I said it. I was
For
going
that
to
matter-
avoid it, but I did say it.
I love her. For that matter, Nameless has been very deliberately sitting on their hands and sort of rocking in their chair, having probably been told on more than one occasion that you just cannot pick up animal folk.
This, keep in mind, this door is not very tall. If you want, like, she is dressed, as the description, dressed like a Russian grandmother, has this voice, and she probably just barely hits 3 foot.
Oh god, I love them. I think Nameless would absolutely just cast this pleading look at Ishtar.
And Ishtar would immediately just shoot back just this very stern look, like, no. You know the look from a disapproving mother.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He kind of sulks a little bit at that.
Will you be staying in your rooms again, or should I be expecting a departure?
Oh, I think we're going to be staying for at least one more night. We have to head on out. We do greatly appreciate your hospitality. It's being on the road for so long and through everything we've been through. It's honestly been a very welcome sight.
I think even at that, Nameless would just like kind of nod and like mutter like a very broken thank you.
You're welcome, and also, I mean, Mitzi Village isn't very big, so. Right, anything food-wise that you require further, or has tonight been satisfactory?
Oh, I think we're all quite good here. Thank you so much.
Well, if you have the time, we're away from the city, and the lights here are fairly dim. There's generally a nice spectacle in the sky that passes over here, so do enjoy the night before you turn in.
Would I know anything about whatever she's referring to?
Nameless is already looking up at the sky, even though there's a roof in the way.
Make a nature check.
Nature check. Will do.
Get yourselves the first roll of the game here.
It's a go. Not
Please
bad.
be a nat one. Please be a nat
Let's
one.
see. That's an 18.
Okay. With an 18, it's definitely stranger for you because the concept of endless sky is, well, not totally strange to you anymore. It's a very wild concept.
Yeah. Just if I heard any stories of whatever she's talking about.
And the spectacle she's talking about is this sort of like cascade of shooting star event, but as described before, with this sort of sky, it's almost like an oil painting that kind of just moves across the sort of like within the stratosphere that you can see. Think like an actively moving Van Gogh Starry Night.
Yeah, I was picturing that immediately.
And it's
Oh,
kind of
I feel like
streaking across like that, and it can almost as like just even like looking out the window just ever so slightly, you can see the stars kind of do that sort of rotating and like painted colors, but they're also shifting into this sort of as the stars streak over them and the light hits them in such a strange way, it's like a kaleidoscope going across the sky.
oh, Nameless is absolutely and constantly hypnotized by this.
Well, I definitely will look forward to that. I haven't really ever, where I'm from, it definitely haven't seen too much like this, and it's always a wonder just being out.
Well, out here in Mitzi Village, you'll see it plenty of times, and it never gets old. And she'll, like, waddle away. It's not, like, a total penguin walk. It's, like, half penguin, half, like, a hop.
Oh, so cute.
It's just, like, step, step, hop, step, step. She kind of disappears as you are left to the quiet noise of the night, and you can hear just ever so slightly the faint little crackles of her fire in the night. But Elysande, Ishtar, and Nameless, you can give me perception checks.
But I wanted to order a creme brulee. I thought you were gonna come to me next. I got so excited. What's up?
Perception.
It's a natural one for a 3.
Oh no!
Nice.
Okay.
Woo.
Ah.
I have a 15.
Okay.
23.
Okay.
Excellent.
Elysande, you don't hear anything. You have been kind of faking
Haven't you
the
been-
whole book and wine thing. And maybe the wine has been a little bit more dedicated to. But the other two, you hear something amongst this. Heavy, labored, short breaths and the stumbling of footfalls.
I bolt to the window or the door, and I press my hands against it, and I'm just like, stranger, 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 stranger.
Miguel, please. And I try to follow you over to the window, just...
Mhm.
We do not bolt immediately, and just I am also just trying to see what's going on.
Yeah, you
as we
didn't
notice this.
hear, Elysande, you didn't hear those footfalls or anything, but you did just witness a very strange drow just press up against a window. But with that, you can see a figure kind of hobbling and limping into Mitzi Village. They are very injured. They look like they've probably been running on adrenaline for a while, as kind of get there, and just kind of collapse kind of within the main village area, like square.
Oh, I bolt outside.
Do I see this person?
No, but you definitely watched these individuals bolt out with purpose.
Yes.
I'll walk
We-
after them.
We move on outside to see this collapsed person. And could I tell, say, any vital signs going on? What is wrong with them? As we kind of start approaching.
Yes, on the left side, from back to front, there are 4 entry-exit wounds from arcane rifles. How this person has managed to move for this long is beyond you. But it has to be through sheer determination alone. They are still slightly conscious, and they were clutching something wrapped in almost like a gold cloth.
I see. Is there anyone else all on the road at this point in time, or just this person kind of alone as they kind of collapse on the ground and we approach them? At this time, you hear, or at least Nameless would hear some words being spoken in almost spoken under her breath. As I'll cast a healing word as we begin to approach.
Okay. They are not looking great. It will do a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're probably still gonna pass out.
Just something to at least keep them
Does it? I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Does it look like they are diseased or poisoned?
No, it just looks like they've been shot.
Okay.
And if it matters at all, 7 hit points.
It
uh,
doesn't at this point. Like,
mhm.
their injuries are definitely pretty grave. You've probably saved them at this point. Like, they probably won't die, but there will still need to be some extensive PT in the future.
Yes. As we kind of get up to this person collapsed on the ground, and we kind of, Ishtar kind of turns him over, and she looks to Nameless and just goes, "DTL, can you get some cloth? We need to wrap up these wounds."
I just take off what I'm wearing and give that to
That's
you.
fair.
You set yourself up for that one.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
I walk up to, I guess, partially nude, if not all nude.
Yeah, no,
person?
Nameless is completely naked, like buck naked.
Solid. I walk up. My hands are kind of glowing with a warm glow, and I say, "Hi. I have some help that I can provide to this person, and I'll do lay on hands. I can do that, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay, God. Okay.
How many hit points do you want to put into it?
Put in 5.
Okay. They are significantly better. But they will. It is one of those things where it's just like, no matter how much healing you do, the internal damage is gonna take some recovery.
Mhm. Absolutely.
As they actually are cognizant enough as they kind of hold up this like wrapped piece of cloth and something inside of it, and
Oh, I take it.
yeah, it feels
Grabby hands.
heavier than you would expect. He just kind of, before his eyes roll up into his head, he kind of looks, regards all of you. Don't let them take it back. And they'll pass out.
Just like,
Is anybody looking at this? Sorry.
No, it's a very quiet village, so it's just
Okay.
it's just all of you right now.
Mhm.
I give him like a little gentle pat as I'm like staring at this thing. What is it?
I just give a glance over to Nameless and just like a kind of a don't. Just do we know if there's a healer in this village
I was just about to ask
or
that.
somewhere? Yeah, to bring them.
There is a herbalist. They are not. They will probably suffice for this type of healing. It's just this person should probably be expecting to stay here for several weeks if they are to recover permanently.
And would the inn have is the inn like packed or the hostel?
No, it's got some people, but it's not like.
Okay. And the herbalist is definitely not open like at this time of night, correct?
No, definitely not.
Oh, too bad. So we go to pick him. Pick this guy. Oh, who is this? I should say, ask first. What does this guy look like besides just he's been injured by several rifle rounds?
Aside from being injured, something that is very, very surprising is how clean shaven this person is, how well their hair is kept, aside from the messy look that they have from probably running for a fair amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have any weapons on them, or how's their armor?
Did they have any food on them?
They don't have any armor. It doesn't look like they have any food on them. But the cloth and attire that they are wearing is very surprising because it is the robes and garbs of an archivist for the Capenian dynasty.
What's the material made out of?
The material is made out of very fine astral silk.
Ooh. Okay, that I'll take. Just
what? You're naked.
Hold on.
It's tough though. It's better than what I was wearing.
As you try to take that, are you just going to take it in front of me?
Blatantly, yeah.
I just immediately just kind of almost like someone trying to get the attention of their dog to tell them to stop. Just no. We don't take anyone's things. At least not if we. I mean, who is this person anyway? We need to get them. We need to get them to someone, a healer or anything. As she begins to lift him up.
What is this object I'm holding, by the way?
It is wrapped in golden cloth. So,
what's the cloth feel like?
Like very smooth satin cotton.
Okay, that I've probably taken that off, and I'm like absently rubbing that on my cheek. What is the other thing? What's in under this wrapping?
Within this wrapping is a slightly translucent crystal slab with several dark blue dots, which are connected in sort of a nonsensical pattern, but are connected by golden lines that almost seem to shimmer ever so slightly, like traveling up these lines and following a path before starting over again.
Very pretty. I look at it, admire it, lick it, probably get bored in a couple minutes and just drop it on the ground.
Do I have enough reflexes to
make a dexterity check?
Because it looks like it's, precious.
Yeah, make a dexterity
check. Oh, that's a nat 20.
Oh yeah, you
So smooth.
you have history with just sort of rambunctious behaviors, so you were able to catch potential destruction. As you catch it, it is heavier than you would expect. The size of this slab is about the size of like an A5 letter. It's somewhat large. But as I said, it is this crystal that is slightly translucent with 7 dark blue dots and kind of set in a weird, nonsensical pattern, which is only connected by golden lines that seem to shimmer pathways before
Can I
starting over again.
look at it, but like put it up to the sky to see if I can't connect any of the look at like through it to see if it lines up with anything up in the night sky? Because you said there's well, I don't know if I overheard the event being talked about, but I did see people rush up to a window. Specifically these people.
Yeah, you can hold it up to the sky, and it takes a little bit, like shifting it a little ways. And as you kind of hold it up a certain way, certain areas within this kind of kaleidoscope fractals don't move. They are bright points within this sky. And this is a pattern that lines up perfectly. What you have is some sort of star map.
Okay.
As you kind of just go and reach and take this, as I kind of just give another look to Nameless, because he dropped this thing that we were told to take care of. I immediately just go, as I'm picking up this man, over to the other our other guest here, holding up the tablets. I'm just like, hey, you!
Yes? Yes, dear?
Go ahead and come with us if you're going to be involved here. As we're kind of just taking, as you see her just picking up this man. Not quite, almost like a fireman's carry kind of going on. Just to, as, and that's kind of all that she says as she goes to move on towards the herbalist.
Yeah, I take off my I assume I have a cape. I wanted a cape, so I have a cape.
No, that's fine.
I take off my cape and wrap the star map in it, so it's not like out in the open, and then just walk with them.
Okay. As you head towards to get this person some form of medical aid, not too far off is a other group of people. 2 individuals that are not local to here. As a matter of fact, one of them knows the land a little bit better, and the other one has come from a monastery out of Ishtar City, which is on the other moon. The job wasn't very detailed, other than it pays fairly decent, as it's paid by the Capenian Navy. So for a hefty sum, all you have to do is track down a fugitive. So, for Rachel and Lynn, 2 of your characters describe what they look like and what they are doing in this moment.
For clarification, are our characters together on this mission?
Yes.
Okay. The song is a quite a interesting figure. You don't see a whole lot of them around, but he's a tall, like slender feline man with dark brown and black furs, little speckles of amber in them, kind of like the tortoise shell look you see in domestic cats. And he has these striking, like, dark blue eyes and some very, very worn and sort of patchwork, light, like, leather armor and a nice shawl that he wears that's kind of like different colors of earthy greens and kind of has a stripy pattern on it. And it's evening.
It is late in the evening.
I'd say he's walking with his partner, then trying to find a good place to settle in for tonight. And he's not saying a whole lot, not one for conversation, but he's good at listening.
Okay.
Liarel is average height for an elf. She's a little paler than most of them go. She has slightly longer than shoulder length, ashen silver blue hair. Part of it is braided back. She has brilliant green eyes that are flecked with gold, if you get up close enough to see them. She seems youngish, but it's hard to pinpoint exactly what her age is. She's also got leather armor on. And when you get up close, it seems like from a distance the clothing is like average wear, but when you get closer, you can kind of tell that it's fine, neatly made and tailored, but seems to be tailored in such a way to look as if it's distressed. But she has been using it for a while, so it's broken in the appropriate places. She's calm and composed and walking next to her companion, but she isn't exactly a chatterbox either, doing the same thing, trying to look around for a good spot to settle in for the night.
Okay. As you continue through, the sort of like dancing little glows of these forest bugs that kind of give off this sort of dull bright orange glow that kind of just hover around just throughout like a very muted silent snowfall. As you continue through, slightly past that, you can see an ever slightly brighter glow just resting against the side of this mountain base that's kind of rising upwards. You can make out the faint outlines of small, what probably from this distance is actually realistically a fairly large torii gate, as well as several buildings made with like the traditional sort of what we would in this world treat as sort of Japanese like traditional building walls.
Does Uncle keep heading off in that direction then? As he's kind of walking, he's gently, like, subtly trying to, like, you know how you can catch fireflies in your hand by just, like, gently.
Yep.
He's kind of, like, subtly trying to do that, but without, this companion noticing.
Okay.
It's like a little, like, putting his hand out further or whatever here and there to try and catch one. Intentionally kind of walking into them. He is probably not being as subtle as you think he is.
They're not hard to catch. They're fairly slow flying creatures. They're kind of like bumblebees. They're a little slow and they kind of just bumble around in the area. They don't move super chaotically. It's very slow, methodic, and with absent purpose.
Liarel is absolutely amused by Song's actions and pretends not to notice.
Time kind of... It proves a healthy distraction, as you kind of lose track of time ever so slightly before arriving at this village, which is very much out of the way and very different from at least what Song is used to, which is this is an isolated village. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It takes a little while to get here. And no one really goes here unless they want to be away from civilization forever or have stumbled across here by accident. But as you enter, it's a very quiet village. There doesn't seem to be much activity going around.
As he kind of approaches his, like, you can see his ears kind of get tight. He is like not trusting the area. And he's not even quite sure like what to look for, like what to expect.
Liarel she's been around Song long enough that she notices the subtle change in body language, and she also perks up to look around and pay a little closer attention.
Investigation or perception will work in this case.
I didn't get myself proficiency in perception. What the? That's fine.
That's my better roll at the moment. I
You
do have
said-
proficiency.
Investigation or perception. I don't even. Why did I do that? I rolled a 1.
17.
Oh my god, how many of those
Two
have we
ones
gotten already?
Two so far.
I'm gonna turn this on. 'cause
I have a 17 for perception. She does have proficiency in that.
He's distracted by the not fireflies.
Yeah. As you're kind of looking around, it is hard to focus because they're doing these things as slow as they are. These glow bugs. As slow as they are, Song, they do the annoying habit that gnats and flies do, and that is like try and attack your eyes. Or you're kind of just like trying and just getting in the way. And because of their strange nature, they also don't help with the dark, whereas kind of making your pupils dilate one way or the other.
He's pulling his hood up. Kind of fixing his ears into the slots and then pulling it down further.
For Liarel, you can do a little bit of investigation, perceptive investigating, and you can look around, and there was an impact here, and there were several people before the person appears to have been carried off somewhere a little deeper into the village.
She points out the depression and gets Song's attention. Seems as if something interesting happened here.
Well, it's certainly a good place to get away with things. There's no one here. Is there like a trail, or is it just like a commotion?
I could imagine at this point you probably hear in the distance just a banging, almost like someone knocking at a door, but like a bit more than knocking. Just
More urgent.
yes, there's just a banging, and you kind of just say, you just kind of hear in the distance, "Hey, wake up!"
Oh God. Song is gonna walk with more of a purpose now. To investigate.
Okay.
Liarel follows.
Right. Over with the other group, as you are rapping on this door with intensity, eventually
I cover my ears.
the
I
no, continue.
I was just gonna say, I'm trying to, like, be like, they're probably not awake at this hour. They're
We
definitely
have an
not awake at
emergency
this hour.
here. Just ignoring everyone else's.
Yeah. As I'm assuming they can find them,
Oh,
right?
it's not hard. This is a
Yeah.
quiet village.
Yeah.
So
And they're
as
also
Song
not expecting two other people to just show up.
as Song approaches, he kind of I would assume he's gonna see the wounded person and they're clearly looking for help. He's like, you've probably frightened them. And he says, spooky rogue-like to vaccine coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, I definitely like get on guard and like look at you guys like very suspiciously. Yeah.
What I see, because I'm looking around, like, trying to see if we've caused a disturbance in the town, being so quiet.
There are a couple of like lanterns being turned on at this point.
But do I see these two people?
Yes.
How are they? Do I notice that they're like looking at us, just like, oh, why are these people knocking at this door in the middle of the night? Or do they like, are they looking at us and they're like, there's a dead body or like an unconscious body on that one person? I need to check this out, possibly with weapons out.
That depends. And that's not up to me, so...
We're clearly dressed as adventurers.
Well,
Yeah.
as soon as you kind of just say this to Ishtar, as just like you probably scared them, she'll just give you a look and ignore you, and then keep knocking on the door, and just say,
After about this, like, another round of knocking, once you decide, like, okay, round 3, it swings open as you kind of go for the downward knock. And there is a dwarf, who is somewhat rotund, with a patchy beard and, like, messy, unkempt farmer's overalls with sort of this white tunic shirt and this sort of tattered, straw rice hat kind of adorned. You have better have a great reason for waking me up this early.
"There's this man here who is dying. I'd say that's great enough reason."
I'll accept it this time.
And as I just kind of just have this guy in, is there anywhere we can place him, or for you to
Then
look
just
at him?
hand them over, and then I'll deal with it from this point forward. You've done a tremendous service. The village council thanks you, and I will take care of it from here.
All right, and you'll just hand over this man at any point, and kind of just if I'm just handing it over to this dwarf, or I'm putting him on like a table in
He doesn't
his.
say which. He didn't give very specific directions, and he doesn't seem like the type that's going to.
Yeah, that's fair. And so hand him over to him, so she'll just do that.
Would I know? Sorry, before we completely leave this man, would I know what would cause or who would have a weapon like what would cause those kinds of wounds?
Yeah, the companion navy.
Lovely.
And from the archives, shot by the Navy. Interesting.
Song sees you. He's like kind of watching this, evaluating things. And he's like, "You don't know that person, do you?"
No, frankly, I don't know just about any of you.
For that matter, Nameless is like going between all of these people. Like, he will absolutely invade your space. picking at bits of your clothing, smelling you, the whole 9 yards. Particularly the tabaxi, just like friend or foe.
He tolerates it. He doesn't really respond. He kind of ignores it like you should with like a dog who's jumping on you.
Valid.
You can kind of hear a muffled, kind of talking through this building. Alright, I can still see you through my window. If you're going to have a brawl, can you do it not near me?
Right, I think that's our cue to get out of here.
Yes, it is.
I like this guy.
Sir.
No nonsense.
Yeah.
Right, well, there's a hostel over here that we were staying at for the time. If you're looking to stay somewhere and chat, we can. If not, and she just shrugs and then just begins to walk off.
Is this fugitive that they're investigating known for like violent things that they're tracking down or whatever?
Nothing violent. However, it was declared that it was of, great importance to the dynasty and also, essentially the future security of this star system that the Companion dynasty is in charge of.
As Song will follow at like a small distance, and he kind of, but before he does, he stops. It's Liarel, right? Or how do you pronounce it? Partner's name?
Liarel.
Liarel. Liarel, we should maybe revisit this man in the morning.
I agree. And preferably with fewer company.
Agreed. And otherwise, you'll definitely follow to the hostel. Yeah.
Okay. This hostel doesn't really have a definitive closing time. As you enter, as Seema kind of watches newcomers arrive.
Is it 1 story or 2?
It's 2. It's
Okay.
It's not a huge 2-story though.
Okay. I am gonna run back up to our room, like fully on all fours like a dog, and just go put my nice new softy cloth like under my bedding, and then come back down.
So you're coming back naked.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure this is something this poor innkeeper has already seen multiple times.
And, Ishtar is just, hands steepled over face,
My long-suffering sister.
just, and she'll search into her pack and immediately at least produce some kind of cloth and, please, we're in polite company.
There's just an absolute, just miserable little face, but he complies.
That whole instance, Seema, this small little Dola woman is watched it, like that slow kind of look and slow kind of look back, just watching this whole event unfold.
Oh, I love her.
Oh, well, this is a surprise. I did not realize that I was going to be a host to so many newcomers. If I had known that, I would have put up a sign outside the toy gate.
I mean, if you don't have the space,
No, I have
I
the
don't want to be
space.
in trouble.
Okay. You're fine. You just watched what happened.
Oh, I'm sure he's great for service here.
Yeah, I have noticed a distinctive, somewhat decline in regulars in the past couple days, but that could just be unrelated.
Poor lady.
See, Madeo, would you be able to make, wait, shoot, how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of your world famous creme brulees for me and my companions here?
Oh, world famous. Well, you are certainly doing a great job of bolstering my ego.
Well, oh, sorry.
It's kind of not that like a penguin creature can really skip, but does kind of do that.
I love this small grandma. Anyway,
Same.
Our penguin babushka.
But she will be gone
I'm
for a little
definitely
while.
going to be
You,
drawing them.
as a group, can get acquainted.
He will awkwardly sit at a table near them, but not with them because the invitation wasn't clear to him. He's not used to these.
Oh, when I see that, I pull up the seat next to me and I like look at you expectantly and like lightly pat it. I'm like,
Ah.
like
Okay.
with like kind of smile, like please, please don't feel left out. Please don't feel left out.
Sure. And he'll relocate next to you.
Okay. The scene is yours. Go for it, all of you.
Mitael, we have some company, so I expect you to be on your best behavior.
Can Liarel pull a surprising move on Nameless?
Maybe.
Yeah, go for it.
With surprising quickness, she manages to pluck the cloth out of Ishtar's hands, and as if she's used to handling very squirmy children, suddenly Nameless is twirled around and then propped up, properly clothed in some sort of tunic outfit, without him realizing what's going on.
I think he definitely just gets absolute bewildered expression on his poor little face. It just looks at you in horror.
You got the toga on.
And then pats his back towards a chair to sit down.
Jade?
But there seems to be a clear ease of working with wriggling children.
Nameless absolutely, you know how when dogs or cats get a collar on for the first time, they just kind of flop over? Nameless is absolutely just leaned against a table or something, just
No, it's so
And there-
hard
and there
to
seems to be-
appreciate.
And there seems to be a few knots that Nameless cannot manage to work out. It's he cannot figure out how they're tied, and it's going to be staying on for quite some time.
The temptation to gnaw on it is overwhelming, but he's learned not to do that. He's trying so hard, but it's so difficult.
Ishtar just nods at this and just, thank you. All right. I suppose if we're all going to be here together, at least for this moment, we can at least introduce ourselves. I'm Ishtar. This is my, as I kind of motion over to the the defeated other drow over besides me. Just this is my brother. We're just here traveling these roads, and I've just been trying to teach him a few manners, as he seems to have picked up a few, let's say, unsavory ones in his time out here.
I mean, it's all about context, right? But yeah, maybe wearing clothes here is the wiser choice. But you can call me Song. I'm just traveling for work.
Nameless is like hardly taken his eyes off you when you start speaking, just enamored.
He's not looking at you. He's making a point not to look at you, not in a malicious way, but your character can read it. However,
Nope, totally fair. I don't think Nameless would not have any sort of context for. They barely make eye contact as it is. It could be a threat. It could be not. This is fine.
Nichelle, don't stare.
Head down on table, just thud.
Interestingly enough, for Liarel, Elysande, and Nameless, you feel this weird pull to this wrapped in a cloth. There is an item here that almost silently calls to you.
Does it happen to be the item that's on my person?
Yes.
And how's it called?
Liarel like cannot
It's a-
help
it's
it.
a
She's
feeling.
like staring. Yeah, she sees like her gaze goes to wherever that feeling is directing her. But she,
What kind of feeling? Like
Yeah.
positive, negative?
It's like that weird sense that you get where you just are curious about something suddenly and you're not really sure why.
Everyone's
Gotcha.
suddenly looking at you. I'm guessing.
Well, I guess everyone's
Oh,
looking
like,
at
it
me.
sounds-
I guess it's my turn. My name's Elysande. What? Okay. Am I here, like, just, like, for the night, or am I also traveling?
You
This is a joke
probably
question.
stayed here for a little bit. You are probably doing your own travels, but you've probably been here the longest out of anyone.
So I'm also
Where-
traveling.
Yeah.
And
Where
I'm-
rock?
What? What'd you say?
Where rock?
Well, I have experience in child talk, so. Rock here.
Does it look any sort of like? Can I?
What's covered?
Oh, okay.
It's really
can I-
covered.
Can I grab at it?
You can certainly try, but I'm gonna pull it away from you because last time I saw you with it, you dropped it.
Fair.
So I'm gonna keep away.
If you are going, are you going to? Will you like stop for the reaching?
I let them pull it away, and if they move back, I flinch back.
Yeah, it's within
Li-
this item. It is wrapped within. It's like a strange calling.
Liarel moves next to Elysande, and she just gives Nameless a comforting pat. It's like they haven't done anything wrong. It's just kind of a reassurance. But she eyes the package and then looks up at Elysande. May I see it?
Do I trust this person? Do they look
That's-
trustworthy?
That's for you to decide.
And which one are you? I have all the names down. I just don't remember all of your voices.
Liarel? She's the elf, one of the newcomers, just arrived. But she's not, she's presenting herself calmly, non-threatening.
Okay.
And I believe you spotted her, like, successfully wrangling Nameless into his new tunic.
Okay. Yes, then I definitely just am like, here you go.
So she
Okay.
carefully unwraps it, making sure that it stays in the nest of cloth, but gets it unwrapped enough that she can look at it.
Much like described earlier, It is a slightly translucent crystal slab with 7 dark blue dots set in a sort of abstract pattern connected only by thin golden lines that almost shimmer up a trail through each of the dots.
I'm curious if she would know what this is.
You can do for you, this can be history, nature, or arcana. It can be any one of these 3.
Can I also roll to see what it is?
Yes.
History 24, nat 20.
These are all intelligent checks.
Nice.
4.
Got 2 nat 1s and 2 nat 20s.
For you, Song, this is definitely... It's a little difficult because it is an older item. It's... Honestly... It could be several 100, if not thousands of years old.
Valuable. Got it.
For Liarel, this is a surprise to find because you've only seen it in manuscripts, texts, and oral spoken history. Like that sort of, that's where your knowledge comes from of this thing. These crystal maps are very old, and they're kind of lost to modern times. But it comes to the understanding that this is a map to something grand. And you know of some legendary comet that passes through this galaxy once a millennia. And it is rumored that it can grant, for anyone who is upon its surface, it can grant a single wish. And it starts clicking for you a little bit as to... The Companion Dynasty has been around for thousands of years.
She can't help it. There's an involuntary gasp. Like, she's clearly put something together about this thing.
Never mind. He's not gonna say anything right now. You can see him go like on, almost like readying himself.
I think everyone else has kind of seen this weird, or at least understands this weird pull has happened, and this involuntary gasp by Liarel, and this strange sort of crystal slab that looks like a constellation almost.
So Ishtar is kind of just studying everyone and their reactions to this, and seeing, just kind of reading your face. I'm sorry, it's going to take me a while to understand, to get everyone's names. So who's holding the tablet?
Could we, like,
Liarel?
anyone who hasn't already, could you edit your profile names to be character names? If that helps?
That definitely could help, yeah. But oh, the hell, there we go. As that sort of strange pull has occurred, we've also noticed that the cresting ever so slightly, further beyond the mountains is a light, silhouette of a warm glow as the sun is beginning to rise.
I'm gonna head back up to our room, and I'm going to come back down wearing the pelt of a wolf, and I'm going to drape part of it out onto the table, and on the back of it, in the leather part, you see these like bumps that are raised that also kind of resemble a star map. And can I kind of compare them to mine? What's on this tablet?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's very idly.
Liarel picks up on what Nameless is doing and just carefully angles what she's holding with next to the bumps.
Yeah.
So-
And I'm actually, I honestly didn't think it would come up, but now this seems like perfect. Can I cast Augury?
Yeah.
I would like to know if it is good or bad if we follow whatever this thing goes to. Or if it's good to have it with us, that kind of vibe.
Seems like it is a good idea, and it will be helpful to have it with you. For Liarel and all of the rest, if you wish to. Actually, Liarel, that depends if you are willing to divulge that information or not.
Yeah. I ask.
I heard somebody say something.
Oh, I was just saying. I was thinking I was going to ask about that too.
She's generally the kind of person who keeps things to herself unless she does something involuntary and somebody asks about it.
Yeah, Song also looks like he's fully willing to attack everyone if he needs to. If you discover something dangerous, so.
So, at this moment, Ishtar is kind of just reading everyone's faces in this room, and if Liarel has like kind of that face of I kind of recognize this or something of that sort, she would immediately ask. So, I know it's some kind of star map from looking at it, but what exactly is it, if you know?
Safe. Not bad.
Liarel kind of chuckles at Nameless's words, but she nods. It's, I guess the best way to describe it would be a treasure map. It's old, ancient. This would lead to something of a legend. An old comet. Apparently there's a lot of interest in this old comet.
That would explain several things.
What kind of interest?
According to legend, whoever finds it, it'll grant that person's dearest wish.
Now that it's been spelled out for him, is this something that Song is familiar with?
A little bit. It's definitely more of a legend more than anything, and a myth usually, which is the Wish Star. This sort of celestial, wonder that passes through in a strange sort of orbit that almost kind of passes through the Andromedan galaxy, and it has this weird orbit that goes for a long time. And within the Andromedan galaxy, there is only about a 5-year window to locate it.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
Mine's quick. So with the wolf hide down, or the thing with to see if it matches up. Since I saw through the the star map, do I notice if that is connected to the night sky that while I was like looking for it?
It is not connected to any of the wolf patterning completely. It seems like only one piece of it, like if you were to just knowing your knowledge of the stars and if you were to hold the wolf pelt with those type of dots and this map here, it only overlaps with one.
Oh.
For
Almost
that
as if
matter,
it's a
Nameless is
continuation
already-
of.
What?
Yeah, a little bit.
What?
It seems as if we've got two pieces of a map here.
And where did you find this?
So-
Yeah, Song seems to be asking more directed at Ishtar.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was on that man that you saw us bring into the healer. He said someone was after him for this, and that sort of makes sense on why. That's according at least to the story that you've told us.
Liarel looks at the song. She seems to have made some sort of connection and a decision.
He seems conflicted, but about what exactly, you're not sure.
Do either of these two individuals that showed up at a really opportune time for them, do they appear to have any of these weapons that we know that
No.
the guy was shot with?
Nope.
Okay.
You seem to have a lot of knowledge on this tablet.
I don't personally. I know of the legend. But my friend here, I think, is a little more well-read than I am.
Based on what I'm holding here and what you've told us now, I have a feeling my partner and I were severely misled as to our parameters of our mission.
And what's your mission?
As she begins to, as you see Ishtar kind of just seemingly just kind of shift a little bit, at least. Not quite in a get ready kind of state, but definitely just looking at all of you a bit more keenly.
We were told it was a simple seek and capture. Fugitive who had committed a crime.
Can I insight check that?
Yeah, if you want, I'd give you advantage on that as well.
Well, you can either
Yeah.
roll separate insight checks, or you
Mhm.
can have one roll with advantage.
Mine's okay. I mean,
Uh,
mine's positive.
I mean, it's up to you if you want advantage, or I can roll on my own.
Let's both try it. Let's see what.
Okay.
I both rolled horribly and really well, so. Yep. Nope. Nope. I don't know shit. That's a
20.
solid 2.
Woo. Nice. 24.
24? Okay.
Mhm.
From what you can tell, what they are divulging is the truth. And just some of the like facial expressions or microfacial expressions that you're able to glean, there is some thought of maybe they didn't get the whole picture of what they were being asked to do.
And who were you sent to capture?
Do we have a name?
Yes. Gestel Kidorn.
Can you spell that?
Yes, yes I can.
I've been guessing, and I spelled one of y'all's names horribly wrong. There are a lot of Y's.
While everyone's chatting, I will have copied over the markings on the tablet to my personal star map. Hold it up and look very pleased with myself, and then just cuddle it close.
Wait, like you have your own
Yeah,
similar
it's
tablet?
my star map is on the back of a wolf pelt.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were a different person.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
All right.
We don't have a lot of details, and this could just be happenstance. It does seem odd.
Does the name sound familiar? To
You can roll a history check.
Okay. That's a 5. I know nothing.
And I roll a
So it
history
seems-
check?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
It's okay,
So-
you can't not know more than me.
12.
12. Okay. The name feels familiar. It does feel like a name that holds import and was maybe not super close to the Emperor, but had connections that were close and adjacent.
Am I right in assuming that the Navy probably sent kind of, at least in Song's case, a nameless person out to do kind of shady work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a pretty.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah, that's essentially what Liarel has put together, and she's clearly not terribly happy about that. That she does feels a bit like betrayal to her.
Mhm.
But that you got that she was partnered with Song, who is clearly like, I mean, he works for a monastery. How bad could he be?
Insert certain jokes about but anyways. But
Oh.
yeah, no, this sort of interesting. For you, Liarel, this is one of those weird to say for an elf, but this really does feel like a once in a lifetime opportunity has kind of just fallen your way.
So it seems that you two were bounty hunters of some sort and chasing a fugitive from the sounds of it.
I'm not a
And
bounty hunter. This is contract work at best. But no, you're not wrong. Do you have any other details about this man? Like what happened?
You saw him on my shoulders, I'm sure. That's as far as we know about this man.
How did you
What-
find him? Is there anyone around?
We found him outside, fallen in his own pool of blood, shot through several times.
With what? He's like literally taking out a small notebook now and writing it down on the table.
And, well, definitely seemed like firearm rounds.
Did any of you recognize what type of weapons would have caused these kinds of injuries?
That's a better question. If Ishtar has seen any kind of firearms, or if anything, if there's a specific, or if it's just those are
Firearms
eggs
of
and
this
wounds.
variety are pretty much limited to
Hmm.
the Capenian dynasty and anyone who holds loyalty that direction.
Mhm.
May I
Yes.
try to sneak off to the kitchen?
You can make a stealth check, yes.
What would I roll to snag?
Active
I think-
perception.
19.
Active
I think-
perception because you are slightly distracted.
I think there's definitely both.
Nat 20 for 22.
15.
There's definitely like several folks who are just going to be eyeing you immediately and just trying to grab at the nape of your neck or your collar of sorts.
Tom doesn't care.
And Liarel has and Liarel has a slight advantage in that she's standing next to Nameless and is able to be like, she just kind of hooks a finger around one of her makeshift shoulders there of the tunic.
Oh, hold on. You got what, Leo?
15.
15. Nameless got what? Stealth?
19.
19.
So,
Would have been.
I think, Leo, you're kind of going through a little bit and wondering because realistically, this is something deeply connected into the ancient history of Elven culture, this sort of tablet and star map. As far as you know, Emperor Kaijin Capenna is a human. So you're probably going through that. Song, you do watch Nameless kind of.
He doesn't react, he just watches. He doesn't know what's in.
Okay.
I think.
Oh wait, I don't know.
No, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was considering if I would have taken a perception check. I guess I would have, because.
I think anything dealing with Nameless here,
Yes.
Ishtar would try to make one at any point in time and seeing what he's trying
rolled
to do.
an 18. I'm so sad.
Don't wanna... And I know everyone else is also making these checks.
Okay.
But either way, Nameless is not going to get away unnoticed.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just gonna roll.
So it's like she's reaching for Nameless, but it's clearly a distracted reach.
Let's see.
She looks over at Song. I have a feeling our employers don't want this for anything good. My
No, of course
vote.
not.
Yeah, my vote is we follow this ourselves.
Is this like over the table, or are you trying to whisper this?
No, at this point, like she's like putting it out there, good faith for like not just her and Song, but anybody else who wants to join them.
It's also
Yeah,
not
and-
like the busiest place, so you're not in any danger of really being heard.
And who's your employer?
I'm going to assume whoever had shot that man earlier. Am I correct?
Not
And-
off the mark.
So, You know this to be true then, the star map. Liarel, I can see it. This isn't a legend to you.
Among the elves. No, it isn't.
Alright. Why not? Fun, crazier things. You, he'll point to, Ishtar, your friend ran off. Kitchen.
Um, if let's see,
Nameless just get knocked
Yes.
I feel like all the eyes went to where they were sitting.
let's see. I'm going to see if I know Ishtar would definitely just try to pay attention to Nameless, as I know they would have just at any point in time he can just bolt off. So I'm going to see if I could just make a perception check to see where I can find him if he's trying to sneak off.
Well, Song did mention that Nameless bolted for the kitchen.
Yeah, and you definitely see that. And let's see. So that is a 21, as I see, as you're trying to move off.
Then
Yeah,
with
and
that,
just-
and it you probably didn't catch
Just-
Nameless like leave, but you do see like the kind of the small like hostile kitchen doors are swinging back and forth ever so slightly, and you can just see the ever like slight shadow. Whereas Nameless in the kitchen, the door woman kind of, well, this is a surprise. I'm done with all the creme brulee, if that's what you're impatient.
Sweets! Yes, please. He even remembered to say please this time. But he also is like just absolutely crouching down on her level and just like pleading, begging eyes, and just the grabbiest of grabby hands. And just asking for like a hug, a pet, anything.
Alright.
Liarel looks around real quick. Is it alright if I stash this in my backpack? And she just gestures to the map. Like the crystal map that she's holding.
Honestly, it's not too much of my concern on what fate the map holds, but it does feel a bit wrong if a dying man suddenly gives us something, and two people working for the people who tried to kill this man come in and ask for this tablet.
I am not with the state. They paid me money to go after a fugitive. It didn't matter who it comes from. It came from someone.
And to be
Not
clear,
alive,
we were asked... Yeah, and to be clear, they asked us to go after a person, not a map. They clearly misled us as to what they're after. I'd rather follow what the map goes.
Could I just make an insight check on that just to see if I rather believe them?
Yeah.
Alright.
Whether or not
Yeah.
you make a high instant check, that's up to the character to decide. Whether
Yeah,
they fully believe.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Just kind of reading them more than anything.
Mhm.
Just 21.
I
Yeah,
would
Song just seems
say
offended that
fair.
you assumed him to be a soldier. Like, he's like, I'm not that. Don't you dare call me that.
Yeah, Liarel was just like point blank, forthright. Like she's not hiding anything at that point. It's like she was deceived, and she'd rather dump the person who deceived her and follow this thing.
Alright. Yeah, you see, it seems fairly honest. And Nameless does come back with Seema, this door woman, and she's wearing almost like this on her head, like this sort of like little round donut tray. That kind of.
Does she give me permission to like touch her at all?
Yeah, she's fine with it.
I will be carrying her out. So it's me carrying her carrying this plate of food, and just like he has the biggest shit-eatingest grin on his face and is just in bliss.
Alright.
Ah,
Are you comfortable with this? He asked the woman.
She is very content with this, and you can I think maybe to Ishtar's horror, this Dora woman is totally limp and totally fine with it, but she does look just, you know, that state when like someone is just a little too like relaxed, or like any sort of movement, you feel like they might just ripple.
Nameless just absolutely like presses his cheek to hers. Like he's just enamored with her. Like
It is the weird
Liarel just
chicken thing too. Like if you shift this woman a little bit, her head's gonna stay in the same place.
I love her.
Liarel just kind of chuckles and focuses on carefully rewrapping the crystal star map and tucks it into her backpack.
Jade, did you at least ask?
He nods and gently places her down. And she's able to get everybody their food. His creme brulee didn't even make it out of the kitchen. And you can see remnants of it on his cheeks.
As you kind of just sit back down, Ishtar's immediately with a napkin trying to wipe you off.
Yeah, that tracks.
Song will slide his towards Nameless to have.
Oh, you are his new favorite person. He will thank you, and it's just devoured in seconds.
For Liarel, for following this type of map, like kind of really just going out of the way to just like, yep, nope, been screwed over, my turn, your turn. You do know something about, you will, because none of you have the know-how to operate any sort of vessel, you will have to hire service for that. And you will have to be careful who you hire service for that, because Companion Navy, that's very dangerous. There are a fair amount of pirates that you have to be aware of. Your best bet is probably some sort of merchant vessel. But that carries its own risks, obviously.
I'm sorry, a vessel for what?
To go after this star.
Thank you. Carry on. I needed to kill a wasp with the scissors, okay? Don't ask.
That's one way, I
Brutal.
suppose.
Well, it's
Learn how
cold
to
down
cook
here.
or something.
Well, it's cold down here, so they're slow. But you should spray them with water to weigh down their wings. Don't ask. It's the whole thing. My cat goes
fine.
after them.
Okay.
He's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
get
gotta
stung.
protect the kittens.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyways,
Carry on.
but yes, this star map is to be tracked. You will need to hire service for it, and you will have to find also. You'll probably have to find a ship captain that is bold enough to be willing to deal with both the companion navy and any sort of like pirate vessels that you may encounter.
Would any of us know a person like this, or be like?
No.
Yeah, as-
not really, but you could probably. But the place you could look is probably Kokorot Port.
Kokoro. And how do we know how far away that is from here?
It's the other planet. It's the other moon. It's on Hina. So you would have to take like a small vessel and get to the other moon, to the port.
Can you paste that name for me, please?
And additionally, what is the name of the other moon? I heard it, but then I forgot.
Hina.
Okay.
You and
Thank
Hoshi.
you. Well, I butchered spelling that.
It's fine. The notes only have
I
to make
spelled it
sense to you.
right.
Well, I'm recognizing it because I know a little bit of Japanese.
I chose 11.
Same. So I was like, as Liarel sits down and starts tucking into her creme brulee, she divulges this information. I think we should head over to Kokoro and find somebody.
All right.
Definitely is going to be interesting. I didn't quite make plans to follow some kind of star or some kind of legend, but there's something pulling at me. I'll be honest with you. And I feel like all of you felt it too, huh?
Do we know how to get to Kokoro Port?
Yes,
Like,
it's a very very busy spaceport, so you do know where it is. It's
and
just
do we know how to get to the other moon?
yeah. You would just
Okay.
have to leave Mitzi Village and go like to a small, like at least a larger town that has some sort of off-world travel.
Okay.
So
Liarel gestures over at Nameless. It would certainly make for opportune learning moments for this young one.
It definitely would help at least see a bit more of this world, and I'm curious about it as well. I'll be honest with you. Traveling amongst the sky, both thrilling and terrifying concept to me.
that
First time above ground?
Yes, it's taken some adjustment, of course, but I was able to find DTL over here, and um, it's just been an interesting journey, to say the least, I'll say. And anyone who's like Elvish or knows Elvish, whenever she says Nithiel, you would know that she's just calling him Little Star at this point. And just that's a bit personal journeys aside there.
So I think it would make an excellent opportunity for you both to get out and explore and see more of the universe out here.
Perhaps so.
Elysande only checks in at this point, quite similarly to myself as a person human. And it's just like was busy in the creme brulee, just enjoying herself. And it's like, oh, we're going? Okay. Well, tomorrow morning, do let me stop by the market for some sandwich material so I can make a nice lunch. Just happy to have like people to feed.
You, DM, you said that it was already becoming light outside at this point.
Yes. It's kind of like that. It's not exactly like morning or anything. It's sort of like that's approaching that weird sort of night space where you can almost kind of see it on the horizon still.
Yes. It seems we have a long day ahead of us. Suggest we get some rest for it. Unless you feel that we're all ready to go.
I could use at least a couple hours myself.
Plus, we do have to check in with Ma'am.
Of course.
This is true. All right. And he'll just still stand up to make arrangements for a lady for the bed.
She's pretty willing. The place out here is surprisingly not horrid. It's like 4 copper pieces. It's not that expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And the rooms themselves, once you enter, are very, very simple. Kind of this, not very large. It's about a 10 by 10 space with a sleeping mat and just like traditional, just little side stand. But aside from that, it's nothing else really.
And it's all shared, right? Because it's a hostel.
Yeah.
Yeah. He pulls his right up against the wall. And he's actually probably not even gonna lay down. But he will pull his bag into his front and hug it, and that's how he's gonna sleep.
Okay.
He has like literally like one hand inside his bag. He's like not messing around. He's like
those are some high school war flashbacks.
yeah.
Oh,
We've
man.
all done it. There's no way we haven't.
Mm-hmm.
The likelihood of someone stealing shit out of my backpack was very slim, but I was never gonna chance it.
Slim but never zero.
Exactly.
As we all kind of retire for the night, Ishtar is going to just be probably trying again to get Nameless to the proper way that many elves sleep in that kind of trance, and show him how to meditate and fall into that trance, and kind of probably fail miserably once again. As
He's getting better, but definitely not quite there. He has taken on the above ground habit of actually sleeping, but he still just doesn't sleep as long as say a human would, and definitely spends much of the rest of the evening or early morning going around from person to person, just like looking them over very like curiously, and definitely would stop at Song and just Song, you probably wake up to him like curled up next to you, draped over you, just absolutely invading your space, cuddling.
He if you're asleep, he surprisingly would tolerate it. But he's not reciprocating. He's still upright against the wall, holding onto his bag.
This is fine. You need to be kept warm.
Okay, all of you will collect your vests and discover various invasions of privacy.
And as Liarel gets up and notices that Nameless has invaded Song's space, she just, again, that feeling of she's been around little children, just kind of carefully collects Nameless up and props him on her hip, as if she's carrying an overgrown toddler. And lets him sleep longer.
Nameless is not a child, for the record. He is the same height.
No, she's
Ishtar.
yeah.
Wait, how tall is
Which she's clearly aware of that.
Oh,
she's strong.
as for our height, that's I think we're still deciding that, but it was definitely above 6 foot.
Oh, damn.
I think Nameless might be shorter than just 6 foot even. But he's pretty light.
It's like carrying a poo noodle around.
Pretty much.
Oh. Well, during like the waking hours, Elysande being a jeweler makes this really strange looking contraption. It's basically a fidget toy, but like with metal. It looks like a bunch of chain links together, that make like fun noises. And it's just like crafting it and then gives it to Nameless in the morning.
Oh, so many new friends. This occupies his interests for far longer than Ishtar's ever seen him focus on anything, especially like man-made objects.
Okay, your morning is ready to go. Do you have any
He will thank you profusely.
business here, or are you trying to make it to Kokomo Port as quickly as possible?
I think we're all going to the
Who's-
herbalist
Yeah, to see the man.
to see the man.
The man.
The
Yeah.
man.
Need to check in on the patient.
Man. Sorry.
At a more reasonable hour this time. Instead of banging on the door, Ishtar will do a knock.
Liarel opts to help keep Nameless occupied by showing him like different ways that he can fiddle with this new contraption.
There is a tiny bit of a pause before the door opens. Man kind of peers past you, looks up and out to the roof and then upwards. So we figured out that morning's a better time.
Well, of course. Had to give you at least a few more hours of rest.
Well, I
Considering
didn't really
that-
get them though, did I? Now that the patient being dropped at my door all of a sudden.
Perhaps not. But it seemed like a bigger emergency at the time.
Well, it
how is
certainly
he
was a
doing?
wise choice. If you hadn't, he would have surely died during the night.
May we see him?
He's not the most cognizant. There was a lot of blood loss, so you may. However, I would keep your visit brief and as don't create any stress.
Understood.
If you do, he's gonna tear his stitches, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. But I think I'm gonna hit you if you do that.
Noted. And, well, if he opens the door for us, Ishtar will walk in.
You'll watch him like
Liarel
spin around really quick with like over a fireplace with this hourglass with sand in it. I'll just stare you down and flip it over.
Liarel nods to Song to go in, but she'll opt to stay out and keep an eye on Nameless.
I'll
Yeah.
enter.
I'll go in. Is there anything nifty on countertop level?
Um,
Anything shiny?
yeah, there's a couple of shiny things. Like, one thing that's very interesting is a few types of coins that are not local to anywhere that you've seen. One seems to be like iron with almost this lava crimson running through around the rim of it.
Rachel's asking, is this the soul coin?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, fun.
Oh, it's gonna bite me. He's gonna pick it up. He's not trying to steal it though. He just picks it up, turns it over, and sets it back down.
Okay.
Yeah. He's aware that it might look like he's stealing it, but he doesn't care. He's just curious. But yeah, he'll walk over. He'll follow. I'm so sorry. I'm bad with names. Ishtar?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. And let her do the talking first because yeah, he's not good at that either. So
Oh, you shouldn't have you shouldn't have done that. Anyway, as we go over to this man, likely, is he in a bed of some sort, or?
It's kind of like resting against like sort of one of those windowsill like nooks,
Ah,
because
yes.
this isn't exactly a large place. In fact, having 4 other people in here is really pushing it. And the dwarf is off to the side, but is diligently keeping an eye, and you're pretty sure once time is expired, he will be less than kind or polite about it.
Mhm.
Is there only one like patient bed
Uh,
that we can see?
there isn't any patient beds because this is more of a herbalist thing. So there isn't.
Oh.
It's not like a doctor or a nurse or anything. This was very close to being out of his wheelhouse,
Yeah, I imagined as such.
which may have to
But
do with part of him being a little crabby.
as we kind of get to this man, is he awake at the moment, or
Kind of.
just kind of? As we all kind of, move up to him and just.
Do any of his wounds seem like curable from like small magics or just
No,
time
at this point,
based?
it's all just physical. Like,
Okay.
it's just gonna take some time.
Sense. As we kind of look around him, who was
It,
who was hunting you?
The
Who's awake?
the dynasty.
Yeah, that tracks. All right, it's better to hear it from him. Um, do you have a name?
Giselle? Why am I talking to you?
So we helped you not die on the road last night?
More of a curiosity in that question than an accusatory one.
Does Justel have any like a satchel or like something maybe on the ground that was like on the person
No,
that was
not
maybe
that,
taken off?
not that you can see.
As he just says just out and just looks over to uh, the other two, if Song or Liarel is behind, but just.
um well, Justo, we're glad you're okay. I hope you are aware that there are more people probably after you. Um, do you know why they could be after you? And Song knows why at this point, but he's just, you know, gentle interrogation.
I assume it's because I stole something out of the Dynasty Archive Vault. Because I
Oh.
discovered something.
Something.
Emperor probably shouldn't be alive. There's been many Emperor Kaijin Capenas throughout history, but looking through brush strokes and printed ink, the handwritings are the same.
It's very interesting revelation.
Yeah, I don't have much other than that, aside from the map that I took, which I have a feeling had great importance and played a part in that.
Would Ishtar know too much? I mean, she probably wouldn't know much of anything about the Emperor other than any stories that she may have heard. And
The
for
only
whatever.
real definitive history you know about Emperor Kaijin Capenna and all that lineage is that has been around for about. This is a dynasty that has sustained itself for about 3,500 years.
Mm-hmm.
For civilizations, 3,500 years is ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that shouldn't even be a thing. And the only way that really happens is if the same ideologies survive throughout the whole time. And the only way that happens is if those original ideas don't dwindle or get eroded down over time.
As Ishtar kind of turns to the rest of the party, the Emperor, he's a human, right?
Oh no.
Would I know?
Yeah.
Who of us would know?
Everyone should know that he's human. Yeah.
I nod.
If he's been the same as long as the Empire, or at least a large part of it, I just know that humans don't tend to live that long, at least comparatively. Right? As we kind of get all this information, kind of mentally taking down the notes of that we've been given for, what's his name again? I'm always going to forget names, don't mind me. Jestel, there we go. Alright, Jestel, you rest up. I think we'll make sure that nothing gets into the wrong hands.
Yeah, rest sounds favorable to my other plan for today, which was a 3-mile run.
You definitely look like you sustained plenty out there. Yet you keep your humor. And
it's about the only thing that's gonna survive this ideal, I think.
Ishtar kind of just turns and looks and sees the herbalist and his hourglass.
Damn near hitting the bottom.
Yeah. Alright, I think that's about everything that we needed to know. Unless anyone else has questions. I'd rather not bother this man any further than we need to.
Me too.
I just walk out of the room feeling like this man, like the herbalist is going to like run at us with pitchforks if we do not exit this shop soon.
Yeah, as everybody leaves, and somebody replaces her, keeping an eye on Nameless, she takes a couple steps over to the dwarf and gestures him off to one side quietly, out of sight of the others. And she just fishes in her pouch and pulls out a couple of gold coins for him, and just whispers very quietly to him, like a request to like use this to help him recover and find a safe place to flee.
Well, I can certainly do that. I have many ways of leaving this place, so there's no worries about that.
Thank you
Right.
for everything.
Yeah, you're welcome, I suppose. I shall look into another business endeavor, which is opening a second hostel here, seeing as that is a potential enterprise that I may be soon prospecting.
I hope it is a great success for you.
Seems to be through accidental means.
She nods, and then quietly makes her way back out so that he can get back to taking care of his impromptu patient.
Mm-hmm. Right, so with all your morning complete, I imagine you are heading to a slightly larger town to head to the port.
That's the idea.
Yes.
We leave that dwarf's abode, and Nameless has druid crafted all of his like the plants and stuff out front. They're gorgeous, immaculate. Like it's
You know what? You know what the actually, you know what? Nameless, give me an insight check.
let's see. He's not the best at that. Not the worst. 19.
Meanwhile, Liarel is connected with Song to get the notes that they took.
Okay. With a 19,
Kind of getting up to speed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
with a 19 Nameless, you can determine that this dwarf is probably the least irritated by you at this point, just for recovering.
Yay! Replenished.
But heading to this, collecting the notes from Song, and heading to this for Ishtar and Nameless, this is a brand new experience to you. This ship that is going to take you is this small, like Spelljammer-esque looking ship. It is shaped somewhat like a freakishly large dragonfly. The wings themselves are a little bit sharper and reddish in color. The eyes are more just this opaque glass, and the abdomen portion is kind of filled with porthole windows and is more designed like almost a bus, like a transport.
Oh, it takes at least a half hour to get Nameless on that thing. There are tears involved.
Oh, absolutely.
He didn't even want to be in the city. All of this is bad. Once he's up there, he's fine.
Oh, so this town that is only ever so slightly larger than Mitzi Village triggers this. You're gonna have a fun time in Kokoro Port.
Oh no, he hates all of this.
As you head to and dock at Kokoro Port and are departing. Kokoro Port is high in the sky of Hina, and you can see this sort of blue, expansive area of the stratosphere. The buildings are decorative, kind of chromatic metal with equally opaque and chromatic looking glass windows. The street is a busy spaceport with pleasant smells of otherworldly foods and indistinguishable street chatter from the various persons boarding or exiting numerous vessels. There are a variety of cultures and the beliefs that decorate this hub of civilization. And moving through, you can see several, and there is a heavy, like, companion navy presence here. With it being a port, you can see several other ships, which are ostentatious as fuck and just absurd. They are definitely sitting with this sort of royal air of arrogance to them. But you are looking for something a little bit more, less obvious, or less navy involved. How would you like to go looking for that?
Are there like a industrial or cargo area?
Yeah?
Like a district primarily around logistics, but intergalactic.
Yeah, there's definitely that. It's a big port. It has to have a couple of them.
Did I say that I picked up sandwich ingredients somewhere
yeah.
along the way?
Yeah, you definitely
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I don't know how much Song would know how to navigate that.
No, wait, so we're at the port?
Yeah, you have just departed from the transport. Now you are on Kokoro Port and kind of are looking for a vessel that is willing to do something honestly crazy.
I look for the sketchiest person. But, like, not like the most train wreck person, but like the most. I don't want to say morally. I guess morally sketchy.
Jack Nicholson from Stardust.
Let's
Uh,
let's
Wow.
look at our resources here. How much do we? Oh, how like are we playing this? Like we can afford it, or like if we are, or is there going to be a monetary value or characters will have to pay?
There could be a monetary value, or you could sell them on it. Like really try and see if you can sell them on.
Okay, I don't think even collectively we'd have enough to.
No,
Probably not. No.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, we can look for the sketchy person if that doesn't work.
I
Then.
think we have to look for the sketchy.
it depends.
Well,
Well, I was
how-
going to suggest we go to like a place that's already doing transport business, like as Joey suggested, like a merchant area or people who are already transporting cargo. And then asking around there. Because they probably know someone who's doing said sketchy stuff.
I agree. I don't think we should just look for the sketchiest person at a port.
Somebody who's pretending to be sketchy.
What?
Look at well, you know what? You can make insight checks for various people and see if anyone catches your eye.
Guidance.
All of us?
Yeah, all of you.
I'm just going to give guidance to someone who's just looking around, as we're just. Ishtar is very much still a fish out of it, like less so than Nameless, but still a fish out of water in this kind of situation.
Or to insight. If you're willing to lend that guidance, that might
I got
give
a
me a high
19.
chance. Oh,
Sure.
I got a 14.
make it a
Oh,
D4.
I can definitely give you that guidance if you want to go ahead and use that. D4 to your check.
Yeah, just trying to find a D4. I have a not in here. I have this giant sack of dice. I can't find a single D4 in it.
I've had that problem.
God, look at it's chunky.
I have one set of dice that I can read.
There it was. Okay. Oh, it has a little soot sprite in it for how suiting.
Oh,
Oh, that's perfect! I got a 21. Wait,
Let's
no.
go.
Wait, 23.
Oh,
Nice.
That's even
nice.
better. Yeah, so between the individuals who are searching, you eventually do stumble across, maybe not a sketchy person, but someone that could probably point you in the right direction. Dressed in sort of this rough kind of travelers or uh, workforce type of cloth is a somewhat middle-aged looking Githzerai woman with sort of dark yellow skin and kind of blue freckles kind of dotted throughout with pointed ears and sort of that slightly slitted nose, and kind of this matty kind of black hair, as she's kind of directing certain uh, cargo to one direction or the other.
Uh, who's better with people?
Oh boy, do we all suck with chatting? Charisma?
You know what? Oh wait, my charisma's not terrible.
That's not terrible, but it's not great.
Alright, I guess I'll. Okay, I got a 14, so I guess I'll go. I forget. I always play characters where my dump status charisma, unless they're like my sorcerer or something. But I don't play her.
Yeah, mine is a 13. But she's like been clearly trying to keep a low profile. So.
I'm a 14, but I kind of just zoned out except like the last thing that Joe said. So I'd prefer if you did it.
I think I beat y'all on charisma, but he's
Oh, no.
not a talker.
Oh,
I got it.
Ishtar's mainly just looking around and keeping keeping an eye out rather than trying to talk to anyone.
These are people he is familiar with anyway, so I think it makes sense. But yeah, when there seems to be like a break in after like observing for like a couple of minutes, and there seems to be a break in people approaching this individual, he will come up to them. He'll like put his hood down, and stuff, attempting to seem approachable.
Okay.
What time of day is it?
Probably early afternoon at this point.
Afternoon.
Oh, my apologies. I didn't realize I've been moving cargo all day and haven't really been talking to people as much as talking at them. So
Absolutely fine. I totally understand. This is a very out of the blue question. I do apologize. We're looking for someone who's currently what is it? It's not freelance, it's not contract. What would you call this? Freelance work? It is kind of freelance.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
freelance.
Yeah.
Freelance contract?
Yeah, we're looking for a starship captain who's looking for some freelance work.
That would depend on the freelance work that you're looking into. Depends on the length of the journey and such.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Well, you see, you know one legend about the star? The
Yes,
wishing star.
Actually, well knowledge, so she does in fact know about that. You're going
What
to
if-
chase after a myth?
No, not a myth. No, we've got a route. We've got a path to it.
Oh. She
I know.
starts. She honestly starts kind of that weird type of stifled cackling, before she stops. Yeah, no, I know the captain, and you will have done me a great boon, as she now owes me 100 platinum pieces.
For?
Oh, just she made a bet that if I brought a journey to something utterly ridiculous and of legend. Those type of, pardon the uh, phrasing, but foolish journeys and hires. No, I can point you in the right direction. Do be
Oh.
aware, it will take a little bit of convincing. She's not exactly. She's a people person with her crew, she's not a people person with everyone else.
I am very aware it's a completely ridiculous thing you threw out there. But if you get paid, what does it matter, really, right?
Yeah, I'm not the one you have to convince.
All right. Who am I convincing then?
She'll kind of point offwards, and you can see sort of like the interesting like kanji script of numbers. Doc 33.
Thank you so much. And what's your name?
Valia.
Pleasure. You can call me Song. And then he will kind of like turn back and gesture to the group to come with. And then as you can see him like almost like visibly like wiping the nice stiffs off of him, he's like, oh, that felt gross.
Hospitality? Fuck this.
He's like, I can't do the formal shit. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So he'll head over to that dock then.
Okay. As you arrive at this dock, all of you are bearing witness to this dock. This dock is made of meteorite metal shaped like wooden planks. The dock is extended outwards with a vessel off to one side. Two large cranes are over the dock with several hundred pounds of miscellaneous cargo resting on the raised pallets. At one end of the stack of cargo, waiting to be loaded onto various other ships that have yet to arrive, there are 3 barrels of arcane powder stacked in sort of a haphazard vertical pyramid. The vessel itself is a large mechanical kindori, which is this very large star whale type of looking creature, with the front being well-shaped frosted glass and gold solar collectors with reddish hexagon in the shape of large fins. Lines across the organic shaped metal is strewn in gold throughout, kind of very kintsugi traditional style, to show off its flaws as well as its maturity and age. Mounted on the back of this fox organism is a large single-barreled, pointing forward is a asteroid gun. 2 half spheres at the windows, at the port and starboard side of the vessel play host to swivel guns. Nearby is sort of a outpost office-like building with sort of this 20 by 20 with presumably the materials for this ship's captain and or its sort of contractors.
He's just gonna just approach, and kind eye for anyone who's standing with some authority.
No one out here aside from a man made of chiseled marble and coppery veins covering the body, wearing sort of a traditional old Navy sailor uniform that is probably was at one point Capenian, like regalia, but it is long since faded and was probably just something that was taken and has now been fitted to satisfy their own need. There is some authority here as he's making sure certain cargo is being loaded or taken off, or just chatting with some other people here.
Dockmaster mentioned the captain was a she, right?
Yeah.
So this is probably a first mate.
Yeah. He'll approach him. Again, trying not to interrupt because it's the last thing you want to do if you need something from someone. So, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Can you point me to the captain? I was told she's currently taking freelance work.
Well, if you're looking for a captain, she would be in the contractor's building over there. I'm not really sure what business you have, but if your business is not invasive and going to cause my crew any stress, then I see no issue pointing you that direction.
No, actually, I imagine it should be very intriguing. A little bit ridiculous. Should be a good fun time for everyone.
Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of will motion to a couple of crewmates that will board. Good luck with that. And we'll head onto the ship.
Thank you. Alrighty.
Liarel is gonna catch up with Song and shadow them in. As we're walking along this dock, are there any like animals or birds around? Anything like that?
There are
Rats?
a couple of like, there's some like rats, but there's also a very strange type of it almost looks like a cross between like a stork and a gull, except it's got two sets of eyes on either side, and its wings are almost a little bit when they move them, there's almost like a little bit like shimmery dust that falls off of them.
Ooh, okay, well, they've got my attention.
Oh no.
Can I... I'm going to cast Speak with Animals and sidle up to this creature.
Okay.
Have I seen anything like this before?
No, this is not native to where you've been.
Oh, fantastic. Hello, pretty bird.
Hello?
Is this place always so noisy?
Yes, it is very noisy.
How do you deal with it?
Steal food.
Mm-hmm. I like food.
I
Are
do too.
the people good?
People are people.
Mm-hmm. I understand. We're trying to get on that boat, and I will blatantly point. Do you know if whoever owns it is good?
I do not know. I
Hmm.
haven't met the person, really.
Okay, fair. Thank you. I'll give them like the little side scritches, like right by the ear.
Okay.
And then I will rejoin my companion.
Kind of with the side scritches, and this is
Oh.
one of these things, Nameless, where it doesn't really mean anything to you, but it's gonna be everyone's problem. You've essentially scratched onto your fingers crafting glitter.
Oh, joy!
We're gonna be finding glitter everywhere.
Yeah.
Love them. Well, I will rejoin my companions then.
Okay. For Liarel and Song entering into this building. It's kind of this. The way it's set up is it gives a near 360-degree view of at least so this captain keep an eye on their ship, as well as the surrounding dock. But within, amidst a stack of shelves, maps, and a ticking clock, and this sort of old type of flag of some kind hanging at the back. Sitting at a mahogany desk with ivory embellishments is a dark-skinned human with long braided walnut hair with white highlights. She is dressed in a well-tended to but worn-out black sailor's coat with a ruffled dark black blouse underneath. A simple kind of like red string kind of pendant choker and dark breeches with dark black sailor's boots. She has stormy gray eyes that kind of immediately like take your measure, and is definitely not going to be the first one to speak.
And what is she doing?
She looks like she's just going over like recent like cataloging whatever recent business she had going on.
Before they like really get up, Song kind of gets closer to Liarel and is like, not sure what our approach. I can't promise them money. Talking about this aloud is either dangerous or makes us sound like fools. I just got any other plans up here? I mean, we could lie. We could say we have the money. We definitely don't. We could give them the bounty if none of this works out. We know where that man is. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. Any other thoughts before I jump into this and make a fool of myself?
Let's be careful what information we give out, of course. I understand that can be a promising, at least a bit of a ridiculous request for most folks, but there are some people who would take this very seriously, especially if they have connections to the Navy.
Right. I don't
Char
think we...
followed us in.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think we have any ground. We don't have anything to lie with. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So our choice is to be honest, but that's going to come at a cost. And they're going to want reassurance that if this doesn't work out, unless they're fanatic, that they're going to get paid. I have no issue, honestly, he says in a lower voice, with just lying out my ass if I have to. But I would rather not if I don't have to.
Since it's going to be a rather long journey, I vote for being as honest as we can. We're going to need their trust if we're going to be with them for quite some time. Not just the captain, but the crew.
And what about the payment? Did we just say they can also take part in this wishing star? What if they turn out to be terrible people and we don't want to give them that power? What if one of us is a terrible person?
Well, we don't necessarily have to say wishing star, but we can say we have a map to a legend.
I'm not sure that will stand for very long.
I can give
In a
them
way,
also-
we do have a treasure map.
That's true.
I could bribe them into with a custom-made jewelry piece.
I don't know if they'd risk themselves and their crew and their livelihood and their ship on a piece of jewelry, unfortunately.
Neither do I, but it doesn't seem like we have much going on for us either way. We have a myth and a jewelry, so.
May I cast augury again?
Yeah.
Eh,
Probably following
listening
everyone
to-
else. coming
Yeah,
in
just kind of
through.
listening to everybody talking. I hear people talking about lying, and Nameless doesn't really understand the concept, but he knows that it's bad. So I want to know specifically, is lying to this person going to yield us the best results?
No, it will not. It'll
Okay.
really be damaging, actually.
Alright. He'll just pipe up and very, like, having been looking at this pelt and the stars across it, and he'll just pipe in with, no lying, and just leave it at that.
Liarel just calmly studies Nameless at that point and just firmly nods and gives him a firm pat. And like, I agree,
It's
Nameless.
very appreciative of this.
Let's see who we're dealing with, at least.
Alrighty.
Also, this clock that's in this room, where is it located?
It's located off to the side, like it would be
Is it
parallel and
accessible
adjacent
to the
desk.
public?
No, it's not.
Okay. He's eyeing it with utter disdain. Like, the longer we're in here, the more annoyed he's getting. I think repetitive, like, noise like that is, like, the worst thing he's ever heard.
Same. I agree.
Interestingly enough, every tick, like every 5 minutes, the ticking noise for the next 5 minutes is on a different note.
Oh, this thing must be destroyed. It is evil.
Oh, side note. Which one of us has the map? Do I still have the map? Or did you just, like, take it from me?
Liarel has it right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
She has it safely wrapped and tucked away.
Okay, you still have it wrapped good. Okay. Carry on.
Yeah, Song will approach the captain then. Good afternoon, Captain.
Afternoon, I see you're done with your meeting.
Yes. My name is Song. I heard you were currently available for some freelance work.
That very much depends on what the freelance work is.
Treasure hunting, relic hunting, perhaps. It's a little ridiculous, honestly, but we're willing to pay what we can.
Liarel steps up at that point, plasters on, like her whole demeanor suddenly changes. It's like as if she's clearly very accustomed to social gatherings, negotiating tricky things. I rolled a 20 on persuasion.
Okay.
And she carefully pulls out this cloth-wrapped object. She angles herself so that it cannot be seen from the door, and she places it where the captain can see it clearly and uncovers it to reveal the crystal star map. I believe there is a legend of great value that this can lead us to if you're willing to embark on a great adventure.
I am intrigued, I will not lie about that. However, I do want assurances from my crew.
She reaches into her pouch and pulls out a short stack of gold coins and sets it next to the map.
It is a start.
I've got some.
She holds up her hand. As I said, it is a start. How about I cut you a deal, and we will see what happens. I am willing to embark on such a journey, as ridiculous as it may seem. We've been portside for over a month now. However, I'm willing to at least entertain this idea, as long as you are willing, all of you, to follow the rules of my ship.
Just at the mere mention of the word rules, Nameless is just like groaning to himself. He knows that
And
word
there's
and
a-
he hates it.
Yeah, and there's a quick, like, very stern mama glance at Nameless.
Oh, yeah,
and
there
like,
definitely
uh-uh.
is. I think there's just 2 glances immediately.
I guess 3 glances.
Ah!
All the eyes on you immediately.
All the motherly eyes.
By the way, you follow the rules of my ship. You get along with my crew. And how long is this potential endeavor going to be?
Do we know how far away this?
It could be
Destination
anywhere from a
is?
few weeks to up to 5 years.
Woo!
we
Hmm.
we don't.
Yeah.
We'll be transparent with you. We don't know how long it's going to be. Also,
According to legends, we have to find it within 5 years.
The galaxy is a large place. That would make this sort of urgent.
It would.
Very well, then my stipulation is any sort of additional treasure we find along the way, that will be for my crew and to keep the ship up and running. If I
Very well.
determine it is worth to cut you in, I will do so. Otherwise, your spoilers will be your contracted services that you have so desperately seeking.
You should know, and whether this is perhaps reassurance or the opposite, it's possible the Navy has an interest in this. So
I have no love
perhaps
for the Navy, and if I can rub their nose in their own shit, I will do so.
excellent.
That gets a grin from Liarel as well.
Yeah.
As long as you know the dangers.
I am not a stranger to dealing with rambunctious captains and pirates. The Navy is simply organized piracy.
Truly. But yeah, I don't believe there'll be any trouble. I'm not well acquainted with anyone, well, you a little bit, but, I assure you that whatever, comes of this, I will do my best to keep everything under wraps as well.
Well then, perhaps we should go meet the crew and introduce you to everyone.
Do we know this person's name?
Nope, she has not divulged her name.
No.
There
And what do we call you, Captain?
you
Well, in certain spaces, Captain is simply fine, but if you're looking for the full name, my name is Captain Jade.
Liarel Dova. Good to make your acquaintance.
And we shall see if it is good to make yours.
She nods, and at that, she carefully wraps up the map again and stows it away, but she leaves the coins on the desk.
She'll pocket the coins, but she'll get up and you will quickly notice she's not a short woman. She's about probably roughly about as tall as Song. She kind of the intense footfalls as she makes a gesture for all of you to follow, presumably to see the vessel and meet this crew that she seems to hold in. Just by the way she talks, the very brief, she holds them in high esteem.
As everyone is getting ready to leave, may I cast 2 cantrips in quick succession?
Yeah, it only takes 6 seconds to cast.
I am going to cast Create Bonfire and then Druidcraft to snuff it out, but I want that clock to be silent forever.
I'm gonna make you roll a sleight of hand.
Alright. Let's see. 13.
Would Liarel notice what Nameless is about to do?
I don't think so. Because you were a little focused on being led to
And-
this, and this clock
Yeah.
wasn't really annoying to you. And as far as you can tell,
Oops.
Nameless, no one seems to pay attention to it. But it does stop
Perfection.
making noise.
He will rub his ears and happily rejoin the rest of the group, knowing deep in his heart that he has done a good thing at silencing a monster.
As you head towards this, you can hear this intense, high-pitched, musical tone. It is a bosun whistle. It is high-pitched and it is loud.
Oh, hands back over the ears, just whimpering.
As you can hear behind you, as the captain immediately turns around, and there is immediately like a hand on what looks like a interestingly shaped scimitar that almost looks like it's made out of like well-tailored bronze, or at least that's the coloration of it. And spinning around, all of you will see 8 like Capenian Navy guards, as they are led by a woman who is at the front here. And she is a very intense individual within this group, and standing before you, slightly ahead of them, is a 6-foot astral elf with a sort of lithe hourglass figure, a sort of cherry blossom side-swept hair with cornrow braids on the left side. She wears a burgundy and lavender double-breasted dressage tailcoat of high-quality fabrics with rose gold buttons. A dark brown belt with crescent moon buckle is complemented by the cream-colored leggings and form-fitting over-the-knee wedged-heeled boots. Resting comfortably at a leftward diagonal is a strange weapon with an intricate hilt and 2 blades that rest side by side of each other, almost like a tuning fork. As she has her hand on the weapon and draws it ever so slightly with sort of a regal purpose. Her form almost seems to like distort with the sort of like wind waves of this port that's around, and it distorts a little bit as the distortion almost looks like if you were to watch a 3D movie without the glasses. It's this weird outline, like it's just slightly off kilter. As this distortion is, you can't tell if it's an illusion or magic or just a trick of the eye. As she declares herself, I would require all of you to stay where you are.
I don't like being told to stay, but I look to Ishtar.
And Ishtar has kind of just that look, just like, gotta listen. She doesn't really like hold you or hold you in place or anything else like that. Just the glance.
We've been searching for a while, and I do believe you have something that belongs to the Capenian dynasty.
Or is this directed at our little group?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna start patting down his stuff and reach into his pocket and just flip her off.
Hell yeah!
Excellent.
Okay. Any sort of resistance will not go your way. So I suggest
What
come
is-
quietly.
What's the captain doing in all this?
Mhm.
She's kind of taking measure of the situation. And as she does, as she looks like she's about to do something, with all your passive perceptions, it's low enough of a roll where you can see this happen. Something like a satchel, like this round satchel, almost flies into the air and explodes and coats this thing, with a slight flash of blackened soot and ash and cinder. As you can hear a shout of several other people that have followed these guards as well, coming from areas, and this is a little bit more disorganized as they are, for you, Elysande, this is something that they wear this, emblem on their coats, or on the side, or on their sleeves, but it is this cracked coffin with a rose sprouting from it. And this is the emblem of the a notorious pirate group that is known as the Blushing Tomb. As this all happens, swords
With
are
the
drawn.
Navy?
Huh?
What? Wait, sorry. With the Navy or
No,
just
not
like
with.
separately?
This is entirely separate.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But
we have
as
a party.
that
is what I'm
happens,
hearing.
swords are drawn, hostilities have raised, and I need everyone to roll initiative.
Wait, do I recognize anybody from the family?
You could recognize 2 individuals, yes.
Lovely. Okay.
So,
Oh, okay.
Natural 20!
Natural 20!
Nice!
Holy shit!
what's the total?
20.
What's the total?
24.
Mine is, let's see, just 21.
Aha!
Would Liarel also recognize anybody?
Not for this one, no. Well, no, you might recognize the astral elf here. This is Admiral Ada Perrin, who is in charge of the 2nd Capenian Navy fleet.
Can I actually have 3 minutes? Real quick. To get up for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Be right back.
Wait, so initiative is it's me and then you.
I rolled a
It's me,
13.
then you, and then you, and then you, and then you. That's really
So,
specific.
Nameless rolled a 15, you said?
13.
13. Okay. And Lynn, would you roll?
19.
Okay, and then got some. See, I'm getting all of my nat 20s out of the way, so when we're actually in combat, I'm fucked. Can I say when the Blushing Tomb arrived, I drew my sword?
Yes.
Thank you. And stepped in front of the rest of the group,
Mm.
just in case.
I think Liarel would have her crossbow out.
Okay.
Mhm. And Ishtar would definitely have her, as soon as all of this was kind of, she already had her hand on her hilt of her sword, but as soon as the bag went off, just sword and shield in hands, and just
Can
calls,
I-
kind
Sorry.
of calling out to Nameless to get back a bit.
Can I tell which one of my allies is the least armored
Nameless.
visually? Oh yeah, the naked
Yeah,
one.
yeah, absolutely. Nameless is only wearing just the thinnest of like whatever bare minimum clothing they needed to get into the city.
Can I cast something before initiative or no?
I need to figure out what everyone's initiative is, so we wait for Rachel here.
And
I
Nameless
think when
is
when we realized, we were getting into the city, Liarel probably would have figured out how to wrangle Nameless into at least a comfortable fitting shirt and a pair of knickers.
pants are the worst.
But these are short pants. It still gives you a lot of freedom. See, they're a little bit loose. I bought them a little big for you.
Joe, what's a somatic component?
Hand movements.
Oh, okay. I can't do that with a sword, can I?
You have a free hand?
No, it's a two-handed. Well, it's a two-handed sword, so I can technically place it like rested on the ground and then have to re-pick it up.
You
No,
should be fine as long as you're not like both attacking and then casting the spell, as far as I
Okay.
can tell.
It doesn't have a verbal component to it.
It does have a verbal component. It has all three.
Oh wow.
I don't have many spells, but I do think this will help at least one of us.
For that,
I-
Nameless
if-
is not armed with any weapons, except they do have a stick. It serves the function as a quarterstaff, but it's just like this was a good stick and he wanted to keep it.
I'm trying to make sure that you don't get hit. That's my
very
goal.
kind of you.
I think we got two heavily armored folk just right in front of Nameless.
Okay, what are you?
I'm a cleric.
Heavily. Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay. So,
Don't worry about it. At least not yet.
Oh.
alright, I think we're still missing songs initiative though.
30-20.
Okay. Perfect. Alright. With all the initiatives rolled, I think that is where we will end this episode here.
I figured.
Because
Oh, curse you!
this is going to become a very chaotic one.
I was
Oh,
gonna say, if there's like
Fucking
three
true.
groups of people that have to fight, there's gonna be so much initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, between everyone.